there are some golden flashes to watch. And I'm glad you did this because I'm having trouble doing a lot of film work on the golden flashes. I did a little and I wasn't overly blown away. So let's go ahead.
Statement.
Yes. Let's go ahead and get to it. The flashes to watch. Are we counting these down?
Yep. We are counting them down. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm your huckleberry.
Let's go. The flashes to watch against the Vols.
All right. So I want to say this up front that the absolute, and I'm not even kidding you on this, guys, Kent State has the absolute worst rush offense in college football. So I left off all their running backs because, guess, real quick, before I go into the players, guess how many yards per carry they're averaging right now, Dave? That's a team.
That they are?
Yeah.
Well, that's not fair. I know that.
Okay. Guys, it's 1.7.
Yeah.
They're averaging 1.7 yards per carry. And they are about to play a defensive line that everybody has talked up this week that believes has turned Tennessee into a national title contender. They're not going to run the ball. I think y'all remember the Titans moment when he said, "I don't want them to gain another yard." I think there's a chance that Kent State doesn't gain one single rushing yard this week. So no running backs. Nobody in the run game is going to be on this list. But number 5, because of that, they have to throw all over the field. So their quarterback, Devin Cargman, who has thrown 66 times already, is on the list because he's a quarterback. They have to throw it a lot, and Tennessee still has some questions about their secondary.
Okay. Stunning to you that I've never seen Remember the Titans. All right. Who's next?
It's a little cheesy. I'll say that. Before we go to number 4, the final play, Remember the Titans, they scored game-winning touchdown.
30 minutes and I was like, this is terrible.
They call the game-winning touchdown to win a game, Hollywood style, is a reverse handoff that goes 75 yards for a touchdown. That would never happen. Nobody would run for a touchdown 75 yards on the final play of a game to win.
Waterboy was more realistic. All right, who's next?
It was. Number 4, Cameron Olds, a defensive end. He does have 3.5 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks. And look, Tennessee has been, I'm going to say, slightly shaky at times at offensive tackle. So because of that, you could see them giving up a sack or 2. All
right.
So I got Cameron Olds in there.
Fair enough. I don't think so. But I think Tennessee's second string offensive line, which I've got questions about, will be far better than the first team of the Golden Flashes. All right, Caleb, who's next?
All right. Next, number 3 is another defensive end, Stephen Daly, who has 13 tackles, 5 that were solo. He's got 3 tackles for a loss, a sack, a pass deflection, and a fumble recovery. He is their primary defensive end. Again, I think you could see Lance Hurd have a mental lapse on not a mental breakdown, like a lapse mentally on like a blocking scheme, or John Campbell make a mistake. So I think you could see him get into the backfield at some point. So I say watch out for him too.
All righty. And who is next? And then I'm going to update the poll question.
Number 2 receivers. Number 2, last year's Kent State did have one first-team All-MAC player last year. His name is Krishan McCray. And he had 41 catches for 610 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. This year he's got 9 catches for 94 yards so far. He's only 5'10", 163, but he is a go-to guy, and he's going to sneak into the secondary. And look, there are questions about Tennessee secondary still, and Kent State's going to throw it a lot. I'm just trying to make a case for you guys, okay, that number 2, Krishan McCray, could make some plays for them.
All right. Who's next?
And number 1 is Luke Floria, another 5'10" receiver. He's a 5th-year senior. He was 3rd-team All-MAC last year. He was 5'10", 168 pounds, and he had a breakout start to the season. He's got 12 catches for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3rd-team All-MAC last year. Those 2 receivers are the best players for Kent State, and Kent State can't run the ball, so everything's going to go through them. If they're going to do anything in this game, they're going to try to get them the ball. Unfortunately for them, they have a head coach who legitimately doesn't like to analyze the game from the field and doesn't like to call plays. So he's not going to know how to analyze things to get them the ball with Tennessee's defense.
So those are the players to watch. Staying with the game on Saturday, Caleb, I don't want to talk about any Tennessee players but you do your 5 Vols to watch, and they're pretty evident. But as far as guys, young guys that you would like to step up, I want to set that as the poll question, if we may. What are your thoughts on Tennessee players that are maybe younger that could show up?
I think they're going to get and I think we'd all like to see this.
Can I first say I'll go Ricky Gibson?
Oh, you mean like actual starters? Okay.
Yes. Well, yeah. Ricky Gibson's it wasn't a starter in the first game, but Ricky Gibson's a starter. But he to me, he hasn't done much in terms of like Jermon McCoy. I already can tell he's a tough physical dude at the other corner, right?
So McCoy's going to be an NFL starter in about 3 years.
There's no question. Totally with you.
I mean, that dude is amazing.
Yeah, totally with you. So we haven't seen that much from Ricky Gibson. So who do you really want to show up? I feel like James Pierce is too easy. And then I want to ask you, I do want to get back to the flashes here in a second, but just in terms of the young players that we haven't seen yet, because give Heupel credit. We asked for Ethan Davis. We asked for Nico to have a free reign of this offense. He's done that. I mean, other than sending James Pierce on blitzes every single time, which you wouldn't expect them to do. I mean, you've gotten everything you've wanted out of this group. Dante's been involved. Prue's been involved. Samson's been involved. Squirrel's been involved. I mean, who are the young guys that you still want to emerge?
I like Ricky Gibson. I like what Chris just said. Mike Matthews. I've been high on Mike Matthews from the start. We went live from SEC Media Days 2 summers ago when he committed to Tennessee. Mike Matthews should be a superstar very soon. This is a game to get him some action. And so, I mean, Shannon Sharp level action. I'm kidding. But
by the way, I'm resetting the poll question that was this, and I think most people agree with Caleb. I got pretty beat up. Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters having a child out of wedlock is irreprehensible. Got about 80% of the votes. Rockstar got about 20%.
Wait, Dave, you just pulled it. You are a journalist and you said irreprehensible instead of just reprehensible?
Yes. Sorry. All right, go ahead. So who else would you like to see?
All right, let's set up. I'll set this poll question up now. So you said you want to see Ricky Gibson. Which young Vol is due to stand out versus Kent State?
No, I've got it filled out. I most want this player to emerge on Saturday. So I got Ricky Gibson, Mike Matthews. I mean, who else hasn't emerged? If you want to,
so Boo Carter's kind of emerged, so we'll leave him out, and Jordan Ross has kind of emerged, so we can actually leave him out, and Arian Carter has kind of emerged, so we can leave him out. But I would say that so Mike Matthews, Ricky Gibson.
I'm going to go Boo, because here's why I'm going Boo, because you remember that broken ladder play that NC State ran that he kind of got a little bit confused.
Oh yeah, and they pulled him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Boo. Whether it's make a play or be their guy the whole time. So I'll give you Boo, and then I'm just going to do it like this. Other fill in below. Okay, so who out of that group do you think is most likely to show up?
Mike Matthews, because I think Tennessee is going to keep running their offense. It's just Mike Matthews won't show up when in the first quarter. He'll show up in garbage time. But I think it's – you ever covered a game day where somebody like sets all the records in garbage time? And I think Mike Matthews might be that type of guy in this one.
Could be. I find it curious, and maybe it's just depth, why he hasn't been on the field more often. So it could very well be Mike Matthews. Ricky Gibson could play a stellar game and not do anything in terms of what we see. He could just play great.